Your action will be directed essentially to the younger ones, for they won't revolt when the recommendation of the priest is contradictory to their parents' teachings. The children have to learn to obey what the missionary recommends, who is the father of the soul. You must singularly insist on their total submission and obedience. Avoid developing the spirit in the schools. Teach students to read and not to reason. Dear patrons, are some of the principles that you must apply. You will find many other books which will be given to you at the end of this conference. So there was a conference to debate about Africa. Evangelize the niggers so that they stay forever in submission to the white colonialists, so they never revolt against the restraints they are undergoing. Recite every day, happy are those who are weeping, because the kingdom of God is for them. Convert always the blood by using the whip. Keep their women in 9 months of submission to work freely for us. Force them to pay you in signs of recognition, gold, chickens, or eggs, every time you visit their villages, and make sure that niggers never become rich. Sing every day that it is impossible for the rich to enter heaven. Make them pay tax each week as Sunday Mass. Use the money supposedly for the poor to build flourishing business centers. Institute a confessional system. That is why they go to confession in Catholic Church. Institute a confessional system which allow you to be good detectives, denouncing any black that has a different consciousness, contrary to that of the decision maker. Teach the niggers to forget their heroes and to adore ours. Never present a chair to a black that comes to visit you. Don't give him more than 1 cigarette. Never invite him for dinner, even if he gives you a chicken every time you arrive at his house. That's the end of the letter. So what does this tell you? From a king. That tells you the devil is a white man. All those going to confession, you are going to confession, you are priest, this. I'm sorry for all of you. I'm sorry for all of you. That is how they discover what happens in the villages and all that. When you go to confession, you think you are confessing to a reverend father. You don't know you are confessing to a criminal that poses as a reverend father. So this directive from King Leopold II of Belgium is what they have been implementing all over Africa. They knew that the Bible story is true. But what they did is they built their dogma, their counterfeit dogma around and introduced religion around the gospel, around the scripture, around the Bible story, in order to corrupt the Bible story and teach Africans the wrong version of the Bible. That is actually what happened. So you can see that the mission of the missionaries in Africa is not genuine. They didn't come to take you to God. You already know God. You already know God. What they brought was a counterfeit version of corrupting the truth about God, especially about our Lord Jesus Christ. That is exactly what they did, in order to perpetually keep you in darkness and control you forever and ever. That was why they created Muhammad. Was a creation of Muhammad existed. They created Muhammad. That was through Muhammad. It was the Roman Catholic that created Muhammad with the Buckingham Palace. Go and look at the system of prayers of Muslims and all that, corresponding with the Catholic system of praying. That is what they did in order to use these two religions to continue to control the world forever and ever. That is why in Biafra land, you cannot find all this Catholicism, Pentecostal and all that. There will be nothing like that in Biafra land when Biafra is restored. All you are going to get is one church of the true God, based on the principles of the Bible, and the God that will save us from this. The identity of the real God. If you think I'm lying, look at the comment of the Pope himself, the current Pope. This is his comment, so that you see. Those are the people that are taking you to heaven. Pope said, don't argue with the devil. he is much more intelligent than us. That is Pope Francis. That is what he said. Speaking at Vatican, audio saw, and he was speaking as if from the mouth of a serpent. He was speaking from a cabin that looks like the mouth of the serpent. That is what he said. We are meant to overcome Satan. But look at what he's telling you. The same Pope, what did he say? Let's see the Pope comment on Jesus Christ. He said, and I'm quoting him, what Dr. Eugenio Scafari said, the Pope said. He said, they are the proven proof that Jesus of Nazareth, once having become a man, was though a man of exceptional virtues, not at all a god. That is what he said. That is the position of the Catholic Church. He further stated that Pope Francis, this Dr. Eugenio Scafari is saying, he further stated that Pope Francis conceived Christ as Jesus of Nazareth, man, not God incarnate. Once incarnate, Jesus stopped being a God and becomes a man until his death on the cross. That is what he said. This is from the Church Militant News. And what was the position of the Catholic, the Vatican? What was their position? Look at their position here. He said, as has been affirmed in other occasions, the words that Dr. Eugenio Scafari attributes between quotes to the Holy Father during his colloquies held with him cannot be considered as a faithful account of what was effectively said, but represent more a personal and free interpretation of that which he had, as appears entirely evident from what was written today concerning the divinity of Jesus Christ. That is the position of the Vatican. So when I pose the challenge that does God exist, people think it was a trivial thing. It is important that people start to hear the views of those that are taking them to heaven. Heaven to which God? What is the identity of the real God? Very, very important. Now look at it, so that people don't come here and say he's making a hate speech. So they know. Go and look at the Pentecostals. Where is their headquarters? New York. All these occultic pastors, look at them every time they are going to New York. That is where they go to receive money and corrupt the gospel that they preach all over the world. Go and look at them. There's no big Pentecostal pastor anywhere in Africa that doesn't have any attachment with New York. That is the seat of the Antichrist. That is where they go, conjure and receive their powers and all that. I told you it was the British government that sent Othman Dan Fodio to come and overrun the Hausa community in Nigeria. It was the British government that sent them. They authored what Othman Dan Fodio did. They only halted Othman Dan Fodio jihad because they needed to reappraise the conquered area and re-strategize on how to move forward. That was actually what happened. The same way they created Muhammad, the same way they created Muhammad was the same way they sent Othman Dan Fodio. Those are their front, they are their jackals. The Fulanis are their jackals they used to cause all sorts of destructions in the whole world. That was when the gospel said, you look at the gospel, you say the mystery of God, at the sounding of the seventh angel, the mystery of God shall be finished. What is the mystery of God being finished? The mystery of God being finished is revealing the face of Satan, the method, the main practical method that Satan used to destroy this world, which is the missing link of Charles Darwin, the Fulani cow. That is the Fulanis. That is the main railroad of all this paper that Satan is causing. When you confront it and stop it and check it, you have destroyed Satan. You have actually checkmated Satan. Look at it. In the letter from the King Leopold, he told them to concentrate on the children, that they should concentrate on the younger ones. And look at it, if you read, that's what they are doing. Through vaccinations and all that, they are destroying our youth. Look at this news story. It's 51 million children immunized in Nigeria. That is Sahara Reporters of October 5, 2019. The Nigerian government, supported by the World Health Organization and other partners, immunized over 51 million children during the annual national immunization campaign. According to the World Health Organization, the intervention conducted in phases from July 30 to August 30, 2019 reached 51,151,924 eligible children across 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The campaign was integrated with bivalent oral polio vaccine and fractional inactivated polio vaccine, while 0 to 59 months children received BOPV only in selected local government areas of 15 states, namely Bauchi, Borno, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Kwara, Lagos, Niger, Ogun, Osun, Oyo, Sokoto, Yobe, and Zamfara. A total of 12,020,045 children were given both FIPV and BOPV. And look at all these places are Christian communities. They will use to destroy the life of all these children. He said to make the campaign a success, we engage house-to-house vaccination teams comprising mainly women, mobilizers, and town announcers. Parents of infants from 0 to 59 months were informed well in advance of the campaign, and we administered vaccines in both fixed and temporary posts, says Yusuf Musa, Executive Secretary, Zamfara State Primary Healthcare Development Agency. You see, there's no need to go through the report. What am I going? Is it speaking on the outcome of the campaign? Dr. Fiona Braka, whose Nigeria's immunization leader, said the essence of this campaign was to ensure eligible children are protected from vaccine-preventable diseases. That nonsense. Go and check the life of these 51 million children. Their life will never be the same again in this world. And that is the same vaccination they are taking all over Biafra and Anambra and everywhere, Benue State and everywhere, destroying your future generation. And nothing more. Because what? They want to hide the truth about Jesus. They want to pretend as if Jesus never existed. Delimit our Lord Jesus Christ. That is what they have to do. They bottled our Lord Jesus Christ up, put him in a bottle, cocked it, and they thought swallowed what they cannot be able to contain. And they think they will control that situation forever and ever. Well, it's too late. The Christ gene has blown the bottle and it's out. And nothing can stop it. So we have to go back to John Kerry's speech, you know. I'll start from that Ali Ugwazo's comment. From there, we move forward again. Just listen to Ali Ugwazo's comments in 2014, and I'm quoting him. I'm quoting Ali Ugwazo. When I say that the presidency must come to the north next year, I am referring to the Hausa Fulani core north and not any northern Christian or Muslim minority tribe. The Christians in the north and all the others are nothing, and the Muslim minorities in the north know that when we are talking about leadership in the north and in Nigeria, Allah has given it to us, the Hausa Fulani. They can grumble more and groan as much as they want, but each time they go into their bedroom to meet their wives and each time they go on their prayer mass to begin the prayer, it is we, the Hausa Fulani, they think of, that they fear, that they bow to, and that they pray for. Some of them are even ready to give us their wives and daughters for one night sport and pleasure. They owe us everything. This is because we gave them Islam through the great jihad waged by Sheikh Osman Danfodio. We also captured the Lauren, killed their local king, and restored our Fulani emir. We took that ancient town from the Yoruba and their filthy pagan gods. We liberated these places and the entire people by imposing Islam on them by force. It was either the Quran or the sword, and most of them choose the Quran in return for the good works of our forefathers. Allah, through the British, gave us Nigeria to rule and to do as we please since 1960. We have been doing that, and we intend to continue. End of quote. Like I said earlier, that was exactly what was in the mind of the Sultan of Sokoto, and exactly the main message of the American Secretary of State. That is the reason why no Christian organization like Christian Association of Nigeria, even Northern Christian Association of Nigeria branch, was not invited to any of the activities that went on in Sokoto when the American Secretary of State visited, yet he held meetings with Northern Islamic religious leaders. I'm still continuing to read the decode I wrote in 2016. We are going to juxtapose it with the present realities and developments of today so that we can bring out and actually confirm that this decode was actually correct. So now the main bomb, and I'm putting Kerry now. And I expect that Ahmadu Bello will be proud that in the country today, school attendance, literally, and graduation rates are higher than ever before. But he wouldn't be satisfied, and you know that, because even late in his career, he declared a war. The war is in quote, a war on ignorance, in quote. And that is a war that much of the world is still fighting every single day way beyond Nigeria. The reason is that to some people in this world, knowledge is not a goal to be pursued, but rather it is an enemy to be destroyed, end of quote. Now, I want us to consider this statement from a son or children, that is America, whose parents, Britain, invented the English language to enable us to understand what the American Secretary of State had just said here. If, as the American Secretary of State, John Kerry, said, and I quote, and I expect that Ahmadu Bello would be proud that in the country today, school attendance, literally, and graduation rates are higher than ever before, end of quote, then why would he not be satisfied with these astronomical sources in a thing he started in a small patch hut? That's the question. Now I'm quoting him, but he wouldn't be satisfied, and you know that, end of quote. Now, does it make any sense at all? It makes very good sense when you decode the follow-up statement. And what is that follow-up statement? I quote, because even late in his career, he declared a war on ignorance. That is exactly the bomb, the order to kill the people of the former Eastern region, and order for the Muslim corner to declare jihad on them with the full backing and support of the American government. Note, late in his career, end of quote. Note, also declared a war on ignorance, end of quote. It is important to observe that there was a strong emphasis on declared a war on ignorance, because war on ignorance appeared as a quote within the speech, because it is an order, an operational order for the Muslim North to declare jihad on their Southern Christian counterparts, as we will find out soon. From the foregoing already so far exposed, it is obvious the war Ahmadu Bello declared in the contents of Kerry's speech was not on ignorance per se. Ignorance could not to the ignorance of the people who failed to understand their own worldview between their aristocratic and born-to-rule leaning against their opposers in the story of the legend might of Ahmadu Bello and the Namdazikiwe. We go back to it. Zeke said, let us not forget this aristocratic leaning and treat everybody as equal citizens in our new country. That is what I believe Zeke said. End of quote. My own interpretation. But Sultan Bello countered, not the word countered, the use of the word countered in place of the soft would have been replied. If it was a normal conversation, the issue, it wouldn't have been countered, it would have been Ahmadu Bello replied. But he said they countered, forcefully, countered forcefully. In place of Sultan Bello countered, no. And I'm interpreting exactly what happened. He said countered, no. Nigeria is the estate of our great-grandfather. You cannot rule over us. We must control your destiny. That's exactly what happened. Again, note the statement of the time dispensation when Ahmadu Bello declared this war on ignorance, late in his career, which is immediately after independence, and he did declare a war, not on ignorance per se, he declared a war on those who will oppose their views and natural birthright, that this new nation called Nigeria should be an estate of our great-grandfather, Othman Dan Fodio. We must ruthlessly prevent a change of power. We must use the minorities in the north as willing tools and the south as conquered territory, and never allow them to rule over us, and never allow them have control over their future. End of quote. Instructively, it is this mentality that the people of Zik cannot rule over them that inform Nigeria to adopt the parliamentary system of government where the prime minister is higher than the president, as Zik became the ceremonial president of Nigeria, while the real power resides with the northern prime minister, Bakatafa Belewa. Going back to Kerry's speech and decoding it straight as to what he meant and actually said, not said publicly though, but the operational order that cannot be changed or ignored as given by him that must be obeyed. And this is what I'm saying. But Ahmadu Bello would never be satisfied that change is taking place, because even late in his career, he declared a war on the people advocating for change, the people of Zik, and that is a war that much of the world is still fighting every single day way beyond Nigeria. End of my own interpretation. Ask yourself, the war that has been most predominant in Nigeria ever since the North and the Southern Protectorate came together in the amalgamation. Of course, war of Hausa Fulani domination of power. Sovereign Constitutional Conference, Hausa Fulani said no. Implement Jonathan's confab report, Hausa Fulani said no. Restructure the country, Hausa Fulani said no. What do you want? We want to Islamize Nigeria. We want everybody to be under us. That is exactly the war that is raging presently at the epicenter of the heart of Nigeria now. I'm still quoting him. The reason is that, I'm still quoting Kerry. The reason is that to some people in this world, knowledge is not a goal to be pursued, but rather it is an enemy to be destroyed. End of quote. We have its full meaning when you go down to the next stanza with the subheading, Impact on Insurgency. But no trace. Which people or terror groups seek knowledge as abomination, as an enemy to be destroyed? Of course, Boko Haram said that abhors knowledge, that abhors Western knowledge, except knowledge based on their Quran. Going down the next stanza, John Kerry stated, and I'm quoting him, as everyone in this room well knows, in its quest to destroy knowledge, the terrorist group Boko Haram has killed more than 20,000 people, displaced more than 2 million, and flung 7 million Nigerians into hunger, thirst, and desperate need. On Sunday, they descended into a small village near Chibok in the middle of the night, looting every home that they saw, and then they took food and livestock before burning those houses to the ground. They killed 10 people that night and abducted 13 others, women and children, adding to the thousands of victims, including the hundreds of girls of Chibok girls who were abducted more than 2 years ago. Boko Haram boasts no agenda other than to murder teachers, bomb booths, kidnap students, rape women and girls, and slaughter innocent people, most of whom are Muslims. End of quote. It is a lie that most of the victims of Boko Haram are Muslims. Before we touch the above or decode the literal statement of American Secretary of State John Kerry, it's very important to draw up the segment that completes the full intent of the coded message in his speech, and that is President Barack Obama, through American Secretary of State John Kerry, orders the slaughter of Biafrans, including children and pregnant women. I'm quoting him. But we also know that beating Boko Haram on the battlefield is only the beginning of what we need to do. As the American writer David Torio wrote, and I'm quoting David Torio, there are 1,000 hacking at the branches of evil to only one who is striking at the root. End of quote. So we have to strike at the root cause of violent extremism. Not the word violent extremism. We are going to interpret it. I want us to know the use of the word violent extremism as we will define immediately after laying bare the literal meaning of what John Kerry actually said. That shows why Christian organizations were not invited and why his speech was not delivered at Abuja, but rather at the heart center of Islamism in Nigeria. In the war Ahmadu Bello declared on the people of Zik that is still raging to date, which the current Sultan and the progenies of Hausa Fulani is expected to continue, John Kerry gave a command on how this war must be fought. He said, and I'm quoting him, that the Boko Haram terrorist group, which they have already trained and laundered in Biafra land, that's my interpretation, should kill the people of Zik mercilessly. Not only kill them, destroy and burn down their homes, loot their homes, feed themselves at the battle front with foodstuffs taken from their homes before burning their homes. carry their girls and women of their choice from Biafra land, kidnap students, go to their female institution, rape and carry their girls of their various choices as wives and slaves. I'm quoting him, boast no agenda other than to murder teachers, end of quote, means burn their books, kill their teachers, and kidnap students. Many Boko Haram fighters have been laundered in villages in Biafra land as salesmen and all over Biafra land, south, south, and southeast. When the final order for attack is given, they should all move immediately to their respective designated areas of attack, house to house. They are to burn, kill, rape, steal foodstuffs, and destroy everything in sight. Total destruction. Go and check 2016 when this was written. Go and check what is happening to you presently. Go to the southeast. Fulanis have dominated everywhere in southeast. They even have Fulani native doctors in the southeast who now are patronized by the Biafrans. Fulani native doctors everywhere. Go and look at every villages, bicycle riders, tricycle riders, every Okada you see in Biafra land, they are dominated Fulanis everywhere. Not in the towns, in the villages. On Sunday, I'm quoting him, on Sunday, I'm quoting you, Kerry, on Sunday they descended into a small village, means the operation in the remote villages of Biafra may or may not take place on Sunday, in the middle of the night. See it. They start to slaughter everybody. Order for the killing of children. I'm quoting John Kerry from his speech. But we also know that beating Boko Haram on the battlefield is only the beginning of what we need to do, end of quote. Meaning a direct operational order to keep Biafrans, especially their male, in the war is just only the beginning of what must be done. The orders that follow are expressed in the statement. And I'm quoting him, as the American writer David Torrio wrote, note first, the next statement is in quote, with the speech, within the speech, meaning operational order. And the quote is, there are 1,000 hacking at the branches of evil to only one who is striking at the root. End of quote. And I quote him again, so we have to strike at the root cause of violent extremism. End of quote. Note again the use of the word violent extremism. We will come to that later. And that violent extremism is where the target that this thing is directed to. So by the time we decode violent extremism, you will now understand. The stated order from John Kerry is that killing Biafran men at the battlefield is only the beginning of what we need to do. There are 1,000 hackings at the branches of evil to only one who is striking at the root. So we have to strike at the root cause of violent extremism, meaning when you kill their men at the battlefield, their children grow up, learn what happens to their fathers, and become more violent than their fathers. We must strike at the root cause of violent extremism. End of quote. That is, you must kill all the children you see in Biafra land. And that is what they are doing now through these vaccinations and all that. They are not doing it openly. That is the military outreach and other vaccination projects actively supported by the devilish governors of all these certain states to eliminate their people and eliminate their future generation. You see, before we decode the people and what is defined as violent extremism, we will evaluate other things they want to employ in the would-be war in Biafra land as we go decoding his speech. Now, my subheading, one more evidence to show that American government under the leadership of the Democrat Party created Boko Haram. American government is American government. They follow a national policy. It doesn't matter who rules. You follow their national policy. That is what they do. You don't deviate. If you deviate, any president that deviates, CIA will assassinate that president. Even Donald Trump is in agreement with what is going on. If he deviates, they will assassinate him. That is what is going on. So none of them is a saint. They're all evil people. Now, I'm quoting him. Boko Haram boasts no agenda. I'm quoting John Kerry's speech. Boko Haram boasts no agenda other than to murder teachers, bomb booths, kidnap students, rape women and girls, and slaughter innocent people, most of whom are Muslims. It has a complete and total disrespect for life, the opposite of every religion. It fears knowledge, it fears education, it fears tolerance. In the past 2 years, it has used more than 100 women and girls to carry out suicide attacks. They actually teach girls how to hold bomb under their armpits so that the explosive remains steady. They show teenagers how to use words to decapitate. We might as well ask how anyone could be brainwashed into such atrocities, but because the children are so young and because the abuse that they suffer is so great, even brave souls can be broken. This is then what Boko Haram is all about. And you know this better than I do. Not just murdering innocent people, but also transforming the most vulnerable people among us into killers of their neighbors, their own families, and even themselves. End of quote. In an earlier publication by January of this year for warning the coming jihad, long before people even started to smell it, entitled Judging the Nigerian Government by Their Own Laws, published on 10th of January 2016, I expressly detailed some of the horrendous methods the so-called Boko Haram or jihadists will employ in killing Biafrans in Biafra land. I stated clearly that a son will be given a sharp blade to cut the manhood of his father at gunpoint, and the child must do that. I want Biafrans to listen very, very well the fate that will befall them. Not next month, this month. What they are going to experience between now and January. I stated clearly that a son will be given a sharp blade to cut the manhood of his father at gunpoint, and the child must do so. They will even ask a child to make love to their mothers. Brothers will be asked to make love to their sisters. Fathers will be asked to make love to their daughters in the open. These are things they are going to do to you. I stated clearly that a son will be given a sharp blade to cut the manhood of his father at gunpoint, and the child must do that. Jesus Christ, my Lord, my God, my all and all whom I serve, revealed that to me, not Chukwu Okabiama, whom they still fail to understand, is the Lord Jesus Christ. If you put the Lord Jesus Christ first, and you talk about Chukwu Okabiama, then it can be a little bit reasonable. But for you to discard Jesus and you're talking about Chukwu Okabiama, you are worshipping Satan and you are leading Biafrans astray. This horrendous revelation, as published in an earlier edition, is what is exactly at play here. Before drawing out the literary meaning of what John Kerry actually said, one should know the emphasis placed with dash. That is dash like this. On this statement that stands for emphasis, order to be executed. I'm quoting him. This then is what Boko Haram is all about. And you know this better than I do. Not just murdering innocent people, but also transforming the most vulnerable people among us into killers of their neighbors, their own families, and themselves. End of quote. This is an equivalent of atomic bomb on Nagasaki that clearly shows that the American government not only created Boko Haram, also is responsible for the atrocities committed by the Boko Haram terrorists. They are the people that kidnap the Chibok girls using the Boko Haram cells as cover. I'm quoting him again. This then is what Boko Haram is all about, and you know this better than I do. End of quote. Who knows? Who knows this better than I do? Means that he is talking directly to the London Boko Haram terrorists in Biafra land, not only in the form of herdsmen, not only in the form of the terrorists themselves, also the most of them that has been laundered in the military, that they know better how to transform the most vulnerable people into killers of their neighbors, their own families, and even themselves. How they plan to turn Biafran children into Boko Haram fighters. United States President Barack Obama, through the Secretary of State John Kerry, I told you this thing was written in 2016. Even though Barack Obama is no longer the president, is still referring to him as the tense in which it was written. So you have to bear with me in some of these things. United States President Barack Obama, through his Secretary of State John Kerry, has ordered that in the coming slaughter of Biafran in Biafra land, they are already laundered American soldiers in Biafra land in the guise of Fulani herdsmen, in the guise of Operation Crocodile Smile, in the guise of currency traffickers, in the guise of shoe shiners, in the guise of northern beggars on Biafra Street, in the guise of Boko Haram terrorists, as they should capture and turn vulnerable children of Biafran land into killers of their own parents, killers of their neighbors, killers of their families. Young girls of Biafra should be turned into killers and taught how to hold bomb in their armpits so that the explosive remains steady, and sent into crowded Biafran gatherings for the bomb to explode as they become even killers of themselves. Biafran women are also to be used for this purpose. That is exactly the spoken order of John Kerry in his speech as ordered by the Executive President of America, Barack Obama. When I see them going to all these viewing centers of football and all that, all these children, I was just packing Saturdays, you see them running in a bar, they are going to slaughter all of you. If you don't stop those practices, they are going to slaughter all of you. Avoid crowded places. Even this year, it is even better you go and withdraw all your children in all the whole schools. Stop going to church until you define the identity of God. They will bomb you in the churches and all that, and you're finished. Withdraw your children, and I'm going to tell you the processes you are going to follow in order to counter this jihad. This jihad is already going on surreptitiously. You don't know it because you have not stood up to challenge it. The moment you stand up to challenge it, then the open confrontation will come. And you know that you're already facing a jihad today. They have finished wiping out the military. They are certain counterparts. They are killing the remaining ones in the military. Now they have started with the police. Go and look at police slaughtered everywhere. When they slaughter the police, they are not giving you the names of the police people they are killing, because those are certain police killed by their own colleagues. Set up, and they are killing them. Before the end of this December, you find out that there are people in the police force and the military and all these paramilitary forces, they are all gone. They are killing them in thousands, secretly, but you don't know what is going on. You think it's a joke. You don't know what is going on. Go and check. Underground, go and check. This is written in 2016. Go and check and you see what is happening. Now, how will Boko Haram or American-trained jihadist soldiers be able to turn the most vulnerable Biafran among us into killers of their neighbors, their own families, and even themselves? You see how they will do it. Earlier on, I mentioned about the vision I received from the Lord Jesus Christ, where he showed me how children will be asked to cut off the manhood of their fathers at gunpoint. Soon after that vision, I came across the Sunday Sun of November 21, 2015 under the caption, Boko Haram children. They repeatedly told us that the best jihad is the one in which your horse is slain and your blood is spilled. That is what they tell them. The story was all about how children are radicalized by the Boko Haram sect and become deadlier than their older sect members as the children are turned into beasts, making monsters out of these young children, according to the Saturday Sun report. And I'm quoting the report. One aspect of the insurgency which has become a source of global concern is the conscription of children who serve as child soldiers and potters. These children, whose age range between 12 and 15, are used by Boko Haram leadership as suicide bombers after they have been made to undergo some form of training, including indoctrination, a situation whereby the key soldiers are brainwashed into believing that they are fighting holy wars and that they will end up in paradise if they lose their lives while on missions against the enemy. According to a recent report, these children soldiers, who are often taken away from their parents, make up 40% of the insurgent total force strength of about 60,000. How are these children soldiers recruited or conscripted by the Boko Haram? Investigation revealed that in several cases, parents of the children are first eliminated right in the presence of their children before the children are taken into custody by the insurgent. Recalling how he was conscripted by the Boko Haram sect, a 16-year-old boy, Babagana, who managed to escape from the insurgents' enclave in Bama, Borno State, said he was first asked to kill his parents on the day his village was invaded. According to him, when these people came to our village, they brought everybody out of my house, and while we were still pleading that our lives should be spared, I was separated from my parents and later asked to kill them. Dear friends, I think we are hearing. That is the fate that will befall all of you. I was asked to kill them, but I didn't have courage to do so. While still confused about what to do, these Boko Haram people killed my parents. It was later when I got to their camp that I was told by other children I met that they were also asked to kill their parents. At the camp, I saw a lot of other children that had been recruited, and some were as young as 10 years old. Babagana, who is one of the internally displaced persons centers in Maiduguri, added that he was later told that the insurgents adopt this method of recruitment so that the children will have no person to fall back on after their parents had been taken out. After inducting these children soldiers, the insurgents now unleashed them as instruments of terror during raids on villages and military operations. It was also gathered that the insurgents often deliberately brutalized these key soldiers and forced them to commit atrocities on fellow kidnapped victims and even their own families. Some of these key soldiers that tried to escape from the insurgents camp have also been killed by Boko Haram. In the same vein, the Sunday Telegraph newspaper of September 11, 2016, display photograph of the next generation of ISIS youngsters and what they go through in their training camps. According to the paper, ISIS has released a horrific new propaganda video showing dozens of young fighters dubbed corps of the caliphate declaring their ambition to become martyrs for Islam and participating in violent exercises. Children are also seen volunteering for the notorious religion police known as Hizbah. These ones are in Kano and everywhere. They have them there. That's what they are using to destroy all these alcohol beverages and all that, you know, attacking people in Sabon Gari and all that. It's a religious police known as Hizbah and shown correcting other children who aren't properly following ISIS stringent rules. One child is shown chiding other boys, telling them to put their clothes on before going swimming. And another scene, a young boy orders an elderly man to grow his beard. At the end of the video, the youngsters are shown learning how to use automatic rifles, fighting in battles and standing beside dead bodies. They will be the generation to conquer Damascus, Baghdad, Jerusalem, Mecca, Medina, Diabi, Rome, and Andalusia, the narrator said at the end. Their Nigerian counterparts are the ones that will come and dip the Quran inside River Niger. Now, the propaganda film also declared Middle Eastern countries where children dream about the propaganda film also declares Middle Eastern countries where children dream about becoming ministers, a member of parliament, a judge, or a pilot, and criticizing parents who play a role in corrupting their children by sending them to international schools or encouraging them to take part in reality talent shows. ISIS has a well-documented history of recruiting children into its rank and enlisting them in brutal acts that has long made clear its intent to raise the next generation of jihadists, calling them the corps of the caliphate. CNN knows. In a recent publication of their English language magazine, Dabik, it encourages mothers to sacrifice their sons for the self-proclaimed Islamic State. As for you, O mother of Lion Corps, and what will make you know what the mother of Lion Corps is? She is the teacher of generation and the producer of men, the article reads. Now, in February, a study published in the CTC Sentinel found that ISIS is increasingly employing children to carry out acts of terrorism, as there are currently 1,500 male children serving ISIS in Iraq and Syria. The case of 89 children eulogized by ISIS in the past 13 months were documented in the study, which found that most of them died in violent ways. 39% died detonating a vehicle-borne IED device, and 33% were killed against civilians, and 6% died as propagandists embedded with brigades. These are numerous accounts of children. There are numerous accounts of children who failed at training or who missed their parents too much and decided that, you know, this really wasn't for me. In some cases, in many cases, in fact, those children were severely beaten and in some cases even executed. This is really all about providing point of no return. The children at a point here really don't have a choice. And it is fundamentally, this entire activity is based on concern. Now, back home to Nigeria. In a related development in the publication of Saturday Sun newspaper, November 21, 2015, mentioned earlier on Boko Haram children, it does not deal with male children only. The same publication reported the case of a girl, Zarau reported the case of a girl, Zarau Babangida, who was deliberately handed over to Boko Haram sect to become a suicide bomber for the sect. According to the report, when militants, Boko Haram, invaded Damasak, they burned down houses and demanded that children be handed over to them. Parents who objected were killed, and eventually hundreds of children, girls in particular, were taken away by force. According to a witness, they set our houses on fire and walked through the streets, kidnapping children who were under 15 years of age and killing those who were above the age. Boka remembers. They were most interested in little girls whom they planned to use, I'm quoting her, they were most interested in little girls whom they planned to use as suicide bombers. Boko Haram has become notorious for using young female suicide bombers. The majority of those recognized have been adolescent girls, with some as young as 10. Other young women are forced to become soldiers and sex slaves. A 14-year-old girl identified as Zaru Babangida, who was arrested with explosives strapped at her body, told journalists last December in Kano following a double suicide bombing in a market that killed 10 people, said her parents volunteered her to take part in a suicide attack. She was presented to journalists by police and instructed to recount how Islamic militants allegedly forced her to take part in the attack. She said her mother and father, both Boko Haram sympathizers, took her to an insurgent hideout in a forest near the town of Gidan Zana in Kano State. She said one alleged militant leader asked her whether she knew what a suicide bomber was. They said, can I do it? I said, no. They said, you will go to heaven if you do it. I said, no, I can't. They said they will shoot me or throw me into the dungeon. First, with the threat of death, Zaru said she finally agreed to take part in that attack, but never had any intention of doing it. Several days later, Zaru said she and 3 other girls, all wearing explosives, were brought to the Canton Quarry Market by unidentified men. Zaru says she was injured when one of the girls detonated her bomb, and then she fled the scene, ending up in a hospital on the outskirts of Kano, where she was discovered to be wearing explosives. Militant feel it easier or to intimidate and brainwash young girls than adult women. Besides, these girls come cheap, and most of them are extremely loyal, says Yusuf Mohammed, who work with young people affected by trauma in Maiduguri, the birthplace of Boko Haram. The use of these young women began not long after more than 299 young women kidnapped from the Chibok school in Chibok. Many years ago in 2010, the Sun newspaper reported the agony of 18 widows whose husbands were killed by Boko Haram cells. They told the story of one of them, Mrs. Esther Yakubu, who lived at Bayankota Railway Quarters, Borno State. She recounted her ordeal in the midst of the deadly set, according to her, and I'm quoting her. According to her, my husband was a police sergeant attached to the highway patrol in the state. In the afternoon of Sunday, July 27, 2010, we noticed there were a lot of people, mostly men, in the Mohammed Yusuf Center opposite our quarters. There were more than 1,000. They stood in front of the center dressed in khaki and military camouflage, with each person having a bag stationed beside him. Some carried bows, arrows, cutlasses, and sticks, but I didn't see any gun at that time. Their leader also giving them instructions to prepare for the task ahead by holding any weapon they could lay their hands on. We were afraid at that time. Later they marched to the main road, and we are stopping and searching vehicles that pass. By 10 p.m. that Sunday, they started shooting repeatedly, and the shooting continued to daybreak. Then in the morning on Monday, they started shooting again, asking everybody to vacate the railway quarters area, that the place now belonged to them. Unfortunately, we could not leave the area on that Monday because they had sealed off the entire place with their men. On Tuesday, they broke into each house. When they came to my apartment, they asked my husband and my children to lie down. It was then they asked my husband to recite some verses in the Quran. As soon as they realized he could not do that, since he is a Christian, one of them brought out his knife and slaughtered my husband like a goat. Now, moving away from my publication, let's see some of the recent development in this direction. I'm actually trying to explain to Biafrans exactly what they are going to confront this month, December, this month, and January. This is the fate that will be before you. Let me give you some recent newspaper reports on how they will attack you, so that you know how best to go and prepare. You are going to prepare to die. Teach your children how to kill and be killed. That's the only way out for you. Mutual assured destruction, mad. Anywhere you find yourself, that is your battlefield and that is your burial ground. All these people coming from Lagos, they want to go. Don't go back. Anywhere they start there. That is their own operational field. Now let me read how killer herdsmen chopped off limbs of 2-year-old girl, son, a 2-year-old girl. So you watch the fate before your children. This is by Young Bere Joss. Now let me read this report. It's a recent report. Amputees in northern Nigeria can now heave a sigh of relief, following plans by the Amputee Coalition of Nigeria to provide them with artificial limbs. The association, collaborating with Dynamic Orthotics and Prosthetic Nigeria Limited, will provide artificial limbs to its members across the region. A memorandum of understanding between both organizations was signed during the national conference of the association held on Friday, October 28, 2019. I want you to know the date. So it's a recent report in Jos, Plateau State. The conference, which are participants mostly from northern Nigeria, Anambra, because Obiano have sold Anambra to Fulani herdsmen. So he's saying representative. And the Kitty State was designed to get their members, many of whom are suffering due to lack of tools, share their experiences. The occasion took off with a dancing competition and later progressed into an emotional moment as their members narrated their personal experiences. Very many of them said they lost their limbs in ghastly accidents. while some said their losses were as a result of diabetes. Others gave reasons like communal crisis, including incidents of Boko Haram attack and raids by herdsmen. The story of a 16-year-old girl, Mary Fidelis, moved many to tears. She lost one of her lower limbs as a baby following an invasion of her community by killer herdsmen. Mary recalled that the herdsmen invaded their houses in Ajaragu village in Nasarawa state in the night while they slept, and her mother narrowly escaped from the house and left her inside. It was at the age of 2, I'm quoting what she said, it was at the age of 2 that I lost my left leg. I didn't know what actually happened because I was too small then. My parents told me that it was Fulani herdsmen that invaded our house trying to kill all of us in the night. My mother escaped from the room and left me sleeping, but when the killer herdsmen came into the house, they searched and found me sleeping on the bed. They used cutlass and chopped off one of my legs. They left me in a pool of my own blood, believing that I would die afterwards. But God rescued my life. I was crying and some people came to my rescue. I was taken to the hospital and the leg was amputated, said Mary, who is now a JSS2 student at Iwene International School, Ajarakuta in Nasarawa State. This is the fate that will befall all of you in Biafra land. Watch it. It's going to happen. Any moment from now, they trigger it off. It's already on. Let me read another written report. That is what I'm giving you on how they will attack you. How bandits attacked Kaduna town, kidnapped 49 people, stole everything. This is times of August 29, 2019. Shocking details have emerged of how a town in Katsina State was ransacked overnight and dozens of inhabitants and property carted away in an attack by bandits. Woma, a border community near Zamfara State, was attacked late on Monday, which went on till early morning on Tuesday. Woma is located 8 kilometers off Katsina, Dosina Road, a distance of about 48 kilometers from the state capital. Multiple sources from the town told Premium Times that the marauders executed the attack diligently, moving from one house to another without any resistance. One house to another without any resistance. How it happened? A resident who pleaded anonymity for fear of retaliation gave a chilling account of the operation, which he says started around 11:30 p.m. on Monday. That is how they are going to attack you. In the middle of the night, you see them, they come. Round up everywhere, attack you, kill all of you, burn your houses. That is what they are going to do. On Monday, the bandits stay in a known location. All of them, wherever they are London, they know them. In Biafra land, all the whole places, they are building houses and all that. They have taken over everything, Okada and everything. They are the ones doing it. So they are known. Not far from Sakia, in the outskirts of Woma. The people here know, everybody knows, he said. In the past, the attackers had been to Woma in a small number. They attacked the home of a wealthy local, kidnapping his 2 sons. After a period of back and forth on what to pay, the man drove himself to the forest bordering Zamfara and Katsina in the fringes of Kofi local government area and paid 2 million to secure the release of his 2 sons. About 6 weeks after what was a minor attack, some persons in Woma were called at dogs on Monday from Sakis with vital information. The bandits had mobilized in large numbers heading towards Woma. Villagers said SOS calls were sent out about the intelligence received from their neighbors to help come throughout, but help did not come through at the time they were under siege. The bandits arrived fully armed, numbering about 100. They came on what? Motorcycles. Very, very important. And that is why they are driving all this Okada in our places. They will use it, destroy you. By the time they finish, they will abandon all those motorbikes. Piam. They will move them away, and you will not know what happened. They will disappear. They came on motorcycles, each carrying between 2 and 3. They had guns and carried bags of ammunition that they keep feeding into their guns. A source said. Corroborated accounts said the attackers assigned themselves different parts of the town on a simultaneous operation. Different parts of the town on a simultaneous operation. So when they are attacking you, you think once they start, what is happening in Imo, they will be doing it in Anambra, they will be doing it in everywhere in Biafra land at the same time clock. Bam. So when you think you have a chance to go and, prepare yourself, you are wasting your time. Lightning operation, speed. That is their target. Once they get you, you are finished. Once, there will be no second chance for you. So all of you who are hibernating, thinking it's a joke, it's already upon you. Now it's already upon you. I'm telling you what actually happened. Look at it. Assigned themselves different parts of the town on a simultaneous operation. They are only doing a rehearsal of what they are going to do in Biafra land. This thing they are doing are rehearsals. They have perfected their ass. They use axes and gun boots to break into locked houses and all other places they wanted to access. No matter what you use to keep yourself, they will break it. When they come, they ask you to recite the Quran. Everything stolen. Residents say the bandits scattered away everything they could move from the town. Cows and sheep were released from all the houses and headed out. If people can attack you and carry cows and that, and you say you have the military, you have the police, they were able to take the cows away, then you are joking. It means that the police and the military, that they are the Boko Haram, they are the people that are doing all these things. There is nothing like your national army. You can see it from here. So you must insist that their military must be disbanded today. All the whole service, if you don't sack them, I swear you are all finished. God will not. God does not base his things on emotion. You're only wasting your time. When a man and his God confront a mountain, impossibility vanishes. God cannot work for you. God can only work with you. When you stay and say, my God is going to do it for me, you are all gone until you stand up and confront this. And if you don't confront it, you are all dead. It doesn't matter to God how many of you are slaughtered. This nonsense is rubbish. That was why God told Samuel, go and tell Saul, utterly destroy the Amalekites. Finish them. They are Charles Darwin missing link. And Saul spared them. Spared Agag, their king, and all that. You saw Samuel butcher them. Butchered Agag. He spared them. That is why you still see them reoccurring today. Fulani are the Amalekites. Cain married a Fulani woman. That is the land of the north. That is where they came from. So when you are joking with things like that and you want to be kinder than God, you are wasting your time. You see danger in your front and you stand like a tree. No measure to take care of yourself. No counterprotective measure. When the first law of nature is man, know thyself. When you should be providing security for your family, you stay in your family, a ginger will come and slaughter you like an animal. You or for people, destroy all your things and your own generation is gone. And you are calling, which God are you calling? The God that the Europeans brought to you? You see how they destroyed the truth about God. God told you that he is the Lion of the tribe of Judah, who ordered the total destruction of the Amalekite. Is he not God? Utterly destroy. Was it not God? And instead you say you cannot kill. There's no problem. We are going to see. The marauders also went away with clothes, foodstuffs, and household from all the houses they entered. Provision stores in the town were also forcefully opened and all items emptied. There's no need to read the report. Total destruction. Total and absolute destruction. They will wreck you. They will destroy you. They will rape you. They will destroy you. Now look at it. Shebi saw them when they were caught in Lagos. Herdsmen carry arms for self-defense. What did Buhari say? Buhari told you that what they do is to carry that the arm that they are carrying is for self-defense. Is that not what Buhari told you? That's what he said. He said that henchmen, they carry arm for self-defense. So what is it? You saw the one they look at it. Balarebe, Yakashi disagree over 123 northern youths arrested in Lagos. This was when Tribune of September 1, 2019. He said northern elders at the weekend reacted differently to the news of a truck intercepted in Lagos by men of the State Task Force on Sanitation. Northern, they are criminals. They are bandits. The so-called northern elders, they are the terrorists. You don't have to look at them. Look at it. He said the truck was on Tuesday intercepted with 48 motorcycles and 123 men coming from Jigawa State. That is it. What are they coming? They are the people that will go, they will slaughter you, you know. All these people, they come with their motorcycles and all that. You think they come from afar. You can't even trace them. You can't even trace these people. When they finish all the things they will do, they will abandon their bikes and their sponsors will take them away from that town. Like UFO. Now look at what the former governor of Old Kaduna State said before the 2019 election. He said, I don't foresee light at the end of the tunnel. Balarebe, Vanguard newspaper of July 22, 2018. He said, Alhaji Balarebe Musa is a former governor of Old Kaduna State. The veteran politician of leftist tendency in this interview bear his mind on the state of the nation. Question: how do you see the spate of killing in Nigeria? This is his response. Musa: the latest killing in Sokoto proved that it is a nationwide problem. It is not a regional problem. Neither is it the product of Boko Haram insurgency or herdsmen or ethnic religious-based cleansing. Every reasonable person should know that we have aspects of insecurity in every part of Nigeria. The killing is done in such a sophisticated manner that you cannot trace it to an aggrieved community or group of people. It is well planned, articulated, and executed. That is exactly what is taking place. By the time they finish you can't even trace them to these local Fulani people that lives with you. The imported ones will come there, slaughter you, and they will disappear, just like UFO. And you're gone. Then after that, United Nations will come and tell you they want to do referendum and all that. Hey, my brother, don't be deceived. United Nations is their ally. Is their main party. United Nations is their ally. I will give you more evidences. Now, I'm still reading. Let me go back to the decode I did in 2016. I'm still reading it. I said, I have laid it bare for you, Biafrans, to understand what the world led by America at the international level, Buhari, Obasanjo, and Sultan of Sokoto locally have in stock for them. There is no escape for Biafrans, as you must prepare well for your death. That is the only way to go. Don't spare the Yorubas. The Yorubas are with them. You use the Yorubas to cover your head. I will show you evidences about the Yorubas. Any mistake you make and allow the Yorubas to go, you are finished. Lagos and Abuja will be burned down. Straight. Don't ever. If you allow the Yorubas to escape, you are in a very big trouble. So you say you are coming back from Lagos, don't come back. Stay there. That is a battlefield. You have to fight them there. The ones in the north, you have to fight them. Hitler killed 6 million Jews. 6 million nonsense, useless Jews like the Igbos are today. We have come to that. They kill you and you stay there, they stay there, slaughter your wife, slaughter, and you are saying, my God, my God. Your God will not look at you. So certainly when they come, know that they are already gone. So you try and go with somebody before you die. That is how men die. About narrations are what the Biafrans, men, women, children will go through as their sons and daughters are carried away and trained to kill their parents afterward taken to other countries to fight for Allah. Then God Jesus will hold no meaning to them anymore. The only way out is that you must kill those who have come to kill you. Lay your hands upon any weapon you can lay your hands upon today. Think well what weapon you can use to wrought the maximum destruction on the agent of hell that have come to kill you and your family, and hold that weapon very well Teach your wife how to use it. Teach your children, no matter how old, how to use it to kill and be killed. Won't be touch anybody who will say, I cannot kill because my God forbid me to kill. Then they come in, ask your son to cut your manhood in your sight. Ask your daughters to make love to their fathers and mothers, and afterwards butcher you like a goat, and you say you are God. Which God are you referring to? Jehovah is a man of war. Jesus is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. If you don't kill them and they wreck your family and let us slaughter you like a goat, then you go straight to hellfire, everlasting fire, like a goat. It's already too late to say, oh, let me relocate to East. Not necessarily anymore. It is a war that must be fought on all fronts. Anywhere you find yourself is a battlefield and your burial ground. They are dressing like us in the East, studying our movements, surveying their targets, waiting for D-Day in Lagos, dressed like the Yorubas, in Kano, Kaduna, Abuja, dressed like the Hausas and Fulanis. Anywhere you are, dressed like them. Survey your own targets in your areas where you are. When it starts, kill them there. Whether they are soldiers, police, DAS, national security forces, do not exist anymore. Sultan of Sokoto said they are foreign terrorists. So you must never allow foreign terrorists to kill you in your own country. Kill them all. As we look unto our Lord, who had warned us in ages past against this day and promises that, and 5 of you shall chase 100. That is people that are saying they are going to come and fight for them. Look at the promise God gave you. And 5 of you shall chase 100. And 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemy shall fall before you by the what? By the sword. By the sword. Leviticus 26. Go and look at it. God knows you're able. That is why this sin is committed into our own generation, and we cannot afford to disappoint God. We have to confront them face to face. When you confront them, you find out that these Jajaways are nothing. 2 days you overrun them. And Biafra comes. That is how it becomes. Those in Biafra land, form yourself into groups, monitor them, develop the innate abilities that God has given you, and plan how to conquer the armored tanks. Those armored tanks, I'll give you a formula used to conquer them. We are going to enter into partnership with foreign countries to protect our airfield, our airspace. But on the land, don't worry. Those tanks, they have all these weapons, they bring it to Biafra land. That will be the first armament that Biafran armory will have. We are going to seize all of them. None of them will cross. When they start the Niger, we are going to blow it up. Every escape route, we destroy every escape route. So they are going to see what they have never seen before. They are going to see men from the monastery marching onto their own death. We are going to destroy everywhere. Destroy everywhere. Not only in Nigeria, all over the world. The world has not seen. They think we are joking. They think it's a joke. I'm the angel of destruction of Nigeria. Nothing stops it. Whether people come along with me or they don't come. The rolling stone of fire is already set out. Nothing can stop it. Not my death. My death I rise again. I don't die. So we're already in it. Fire for fire. Nothing stops it. So you better prepare well how to die. That's the only way out for you. 2 alternatives. We either confront the status quo, shoot it out. They remain, let them replenish. Or you stay and all of you die one by one. In the last war, they killed 108,000. They killed 70 billion in Kano. Not this time around. You fight them, you kill them. You fight them anywhere you are, you kill them. That is why you are scattered all over the world. Anywhere. They burn your villages here, you burn the Fulani communities in Nigeria. And our people in the police force, before they finish all of you, you have to rise. Even in the army, you have to rise and confront these bastards. Let the mutiny start there. So that we shut down and bring down this idiot. And that masquerade they put there, says Buhari, we will unmask him. And all of them, even all these countries cooperating with them, there is going to be a post-Nigeria, and Biafra will try all of you. People like Ramaphosa and all that in South Africa, we are going to bring you back, and you are going to face trial, and we will execute you in Biafra land. No matter, countries in Africa will fight you. Later on, if you don't regret your steps, and go away from this calamity that is already upon here. You think it's a joke? We are going to get all of you. Personally, myself, I'm not taking any appointment in Biafra land. But I know I will work briefly in the Nigerian security, in the Biafran security forces, to make sure that all these war criminals, Buratai and all of them, whatever they are, in this world, we are going to bring them. So the Air of Fire will be the first governor that will go mad in Nigeria. Go and mark it. If we survive it, we are going to bring him. We are going to bring all of them. We try in Biafra land, and we are going to execute all of you in Biafra land. Go and mark what I'm telling you. No matter where you are in this world, we are going to get you. Go and mark what I'm telling you. So that in Biafra land, form yourself into growth, monitor them, develop the innate abilities that God has given you, and plan how to conquer the armored tanks and use it against them. Do not mind any so-called governor from the eastern region, because they have sold their hearts and their souls to demons. We are going to remove all the governors in the east, southeast. I will tell you how we are going to do it. We are going to remove them, and Buhari will have no right to declare state of emergency in the east. We were already going to confront them in guerrilla warfare. So your state of emergency is not going to work. We are going to remove all these governors. I will tell you how we are going to remove all of them from A to Z. Do not return any cashier of weapon to anybody. Share it to other of your brothers and start whatever they do to us. What we do is what we do to them. It's called MAD, mutual assured destruction. That is the only way out, the only language for now. And whatever remained, let the air replenish, or let Muhammad Buhari stepped down and arrested, and the armed forces disbanded and put to regional control. Do not mind anybody. When it starts, nobody is their head. There is no leader. Jesus Christ is your leader. Small groups, you take on actions, all these tankers that come to Port Harcourt, and all of them demobilize all of them until Buhari come down and arrested, and then the army and all these forces put into regional control. Then we can stop. And then the negotiation starts. If not, we are finished. Now, what did they do to the Chibos girls? I'm still going on that write-up, you know, what they did to the Chibos girls. That's the girls that Buhari want to exchange with Boko Haram prisoners. They have radicalized all the girls. Look at it. It says, similarly, the Mail Online on Monday 30th, 2015 reported that the Chibos school girls kidnapped since 2014 have been brainwashed. The report said other women who were captured by the group claimed they were held in the same camp as some of the kidnapped Chibok girls who are now carrying out killing on behalf of their captors. The Mail Online quoted Amnesty International as saying it was aware that out of the 276 girls abducted from the boarding school by militants more than a year ago, some of the 219 still missing had been forced to fight for Boko Haram. Nesanet Belli, a director with the African Department of the Charity, said, and I'm quoting her, the abduction and brutalization of young women and girls seems to be a part of the modus operandi of Boko Haram. One 17-year-old witness told BBC Panorama that after she was captured by Boko Haram, she was told she would become the wife of one of the militants. When she refused, they slit the throat of 4 men in front of her and said she should suffer the same fate if she did not cooperate. The teenager, who went on to marry a Boko Haram member, was repeatedly raped and is now pregnant with his child. She says some of the Chibok schoolgirls were held in the same camp as her, and they urged her to cooperate with her terrorist captors and killed Christian men in front of her. They were Christian men, they, Boko Haram fighters, forced the Christians to lie down, then the girls cut their throats. The unidentified girls said the Chibok girls told us, you women should learn from your husband, because they are giving their blood for the cause. We must also go to war for Allah. That these are Christian girls. Now they have been brainwashed. They are not going to war for Allah. That is what they will do to Biafran women, our own beloved daughters and sisters, mothers. Look at it. This is what they will turn Biafran youngsters into. This is what United States President Barack Obama ordered to be done in Biafra land. Who created ISIS? America. Who created Al-Qaeda? America. Who created Boko Haram? The same America.